July 2017 when it all began. All the R&D, sketch drawings on napkins, and the wood frame, don't forget that. That's how I got the basic shape. This is where it's at right now. Got some sweet wheels, Falcon tires. I wanted the Toyo AT3s, but they were out of stock for over a year. I don't even think the AT2s were available. So I went with these Falcon Wild Peak. They had great reviews. A lot of guys are using these. And honestly, I love them. They're more aggressive looking than the Toyos. And they look pretty good. It's 37 by 12 and a half, 20-inch wheel. I didn't want 20-inch wheels, I wanted like 18s, but the car came with 19s, and you can't find a truck wheel or you can't find a truck tire in 19-inch wheel. Let me know if you have. Doesn't matter now, I got these, but I couldn't go with an 18-inch wheel because get some light back here. My assisted light. The brakes wouldn't have fit. They probably likely would have rubbed on an 18-inch wheel. I mean, that's a 20-inch wheel, and they've only got about an inch and a quarter space there. So I had to go with the 20. Not exactly the look I was going for. I did want some more meat on the tire, but I like them now. They're tight. I've done a lot since I last updated because I just couldn't keep up with filming everything and editing and getting little pieces here and there, even though I wanted to. Got some sweet ADS racing shocks, 3-inch, 5-tube. I believe they're 16-inch stroke, and ADS is out of Tucson, Arizona. Sweet little company. I was gonna go with King or Fox, but wanted to be a little different, and I mean the specs are sweet. Seemed like a good company. You can find a lot of guys racing them, so they're pretty popular. Been around a long while. Thought I'd give them a shot, and they were a little more expensive. Maybe because they're a smaller company. See, you got the airbags. I got the smaller airbags on front, a little bit larger on the rear. Got like a tower right there. Everything's so damn close. I redid the front arms 3 times. I just kind of modified them a little bit, but then I totally scrapped them and made new ones. These are wider, so the front end is now as wide as the rear, to where the front end I had a little more narrower. Not sure why I did that, but it really screwed me on the turning. I was rubbing like the bar over here, and the shock didn't have as much room to comfortably miss the arm. So I just made it wider, gave me more room, and it looks like everything's gonna work out. I had to redo the hubs. I had this top arm more laid in, and my whole goal was to get the inclination and the scrub radius perfect. So if you follow the center of this bolt down through the center of your bottom bolt, whether it's a kingpin or this setup, and then you draw that imaginary line to the ground, and I had it perfect to where it was just inside the 1/2-inch point, which is what you want on rear wheel and I believe all-wheel drive, which this is. but then somebody pointed out that my steering was, you would get more of that floppy steering instead of a sharp turn. So I redid that. So now my inclination, if I'm saying that right, the scrub radius, it's way off. And I'm not sure how the car is going to react to that, but pretty much the pivot point on the tire down at the ground is like right here. Other thing I redid, I made my own gearbox with some gears out of the landing gear from a fifth wheel. It worked, but it was a little sloppy and bulky. And the reason I had to do that is because the rack and pinion was originally in the front of the car. So being that I put it behind the tires, I had to reverse it for the sensors and everything to work out properly. Luckily, I found this sweet little bad boy on Summit Racing, which guys use in their roadsters and kit cars, and it reverses your reverses the gearing, and it's a little more compact. Got it mounted up tight. You can see how tight and short that is. So everything on this has been so tight and so close and packed in here like a sardine can, especially since there's a motor. This is all going to be filled up with, there's like 3 electronic computers, boxes, circuit boards, whatever. Shock tower, beefy ass 1/4 inch. All the suspension is done out of 1/4 inch plate. This is removable. You can see there's a point here, one in the front, side, and so this whole unit comes out so the motor can lift out of the top. The frame is 1 3/4 95 wall. I didn't go with 120, it's 95 chromoly. All the suspension is 1.5 inch 120 wall. Putting gussets everywhere I can to make sure, trying to keep everything as rigid as possible. So this right here, this is the second time I did this, redid this because I didn't like the way the first one was. This holds the screen. It's like a 10-inch screen. Yeah, like a 10-inch screen for the cluster. The bigger 16-inch screen or whatever it is. So this is the top, and then here's 2 other brackets. And so this is going to be a huge screen here in the center console. The dashboard got speakers and all that other crap. It's got a nice sound system to it. You can see all the wire loom. I got most of it mounted, all the important key parts like the fuse box over there. Here's a junction of a bunch of connectors, the loom. This goes under the seat. Some of this is not used. It goes up to like curtain airbags, which I won't be using. And I'm gonna wrap all this to where exposed wire is. Bought a bunch of friction tape. I don't want any of that exposed in case it is rubbing around, so I'll wrap that with more friction tape. So you can see here, there's like a rail, so a battery sits in here, and then I'll have aluminum floor. You can see that wood right here, this is the exact size of the batteries, so I screwed a couple boards together just to fit everything. So it's going to be a battery, single battery on the passenger side. Right here in the center console, they go 3 high, so it's going to be battery, floor, battery, floor, battery. And back here, 4 high batteries. These are all 60 pounds a piece. Freaking crazy. So yep, 4 high, and I've got the floor cut out on each one. Same thing under the rear seat. It's going to be battery, and then I got a cage that bolts down and holds 1 more battery like that. Then the seat goes on top. So that's 16 modules of batteries, each one 60 pounds a piece. It's going to be like 1,200 pounds for just the batteries. I think the front and rear motor, the front is a little lighter than the rear, but they're about 200 to 300 pounds. So it's a heavy car. I won't be jumping this like I was my old one. I think I might have to settle on this being like an overlander, which I'm fine, but I'll be ripping it through the trails and the whoops and stuff like that. I just don't think I'll be doing that high jump and stuff like I was the old one, but I'll find a way to beat it up. I just, you know, gotta take it slow, see how it handles, check the frame, make sure, you know, I've got that I'm not bending and breaking welds and stuff, and we'll go from there, see how it handles. So yeah, more quarter inch steel for the top of the airbag, mounted right to the rear, quarter inch steel. So this is a little bit wider airbag. It takes about 50 pounds to hold the back up right now as it is, and it takes 110 pounds in the front bag. So I'm not sure why it takes so much in the front, and I'm kind of worried about that. These do have bump stops in them. I think I'm gonna make a spacer for the bottom, push the airbag up. Maybe that will require less air to hold it in the same position. Plus it'll set up my bump stop to where it will bottom out in here before the shock does. The rear is already set up perfectly to where the bump stop in the bag bottoms out before the shock does. Still got to throw in the wiper unit. Here's the reservoirs, some big daddies. So I got the wiper unit to throw in. I've got the HVAC unit back there, which sits on mostly in the center, and then part of it goes, the fan part and stuff goes over to the passenger side. That's right here. Good size unit, pretty lightweight. That's the other part. It's in two pieces. I gotta put it in to make it fit in two pieces, but it's actually one piece once you get it together. So the car, it will have AC, heated seats, and I just gotta create like a duct system wherever the air is gonna come out. I'll keep it simple, and not sure how I'll run that. The original car had the plastic duct running all the way to the back and had the vents at the back of the center console. So I'll run tubing or something to maybe get some heat and AC to the back, because we want to be comfortable, have the dogs comfortable, or whoever rides back here. This is the charger. This usually sits under the back seat in the car. So it's the charger, some electronics and circuitry for it, more electronics and circuitry for it, more electronics and circuitry for it. It's crazy, all this high voltage line. I 3D printed this box here just to try and keep it all together. And so all this area, all them electronics, it has to be completely sealed from the outside weather. So I gotta box it in somehow, keep the weather and water off of it. And I am using the two front seats because they got a very cool shape to it, and I'm gonna reupholster them. I keep this, you pull the stitching apart, you basically just trace the same exact pattern on the new upholstery and take notes, sew it back together the same way, and you should be good to go. Should fit pretty much like the original seat. So those are real leather seats. That's before they went to the vegan leather. I didn't want the tan, so I'll do like a gray. Yep, got the we'll have a wood ceiling. Got to keep it classic. Yeah, not really. So the whole cooling system for the batteries I kept off the original right here. I took it all apart, heated it up, pulled it apart. These are the quick connects for the batteries. And I got poly tubing, so I'll just cut it perfectly to size, put this back together, and it'll just be a different routing. Yeah, I got all that. I'll probably redo the steering wheel. If I can't, it didn't have this because the airbag blew on the original car. I think I might make a yoke steering wheel like the S and X come with now. And it's cool because you can see the front cluster a lot easier with a yoke versus a steering wheel. I might do that. This thing's got many water pumps. Got one here. There's one or two other ones here just in the front. Got more wiring there. Gotta run it. Radiator. I gotta put a radiator up here. Plasma table has been awesome. Crossfire. Some of you guys out there got one. You know, it's great for a garage. This is the original size. I got the original torch with it, which was the small piece of shit torch, and as soon as I changed that, table worked perfectly again, because some of the stuff I had to cut by hand. It was like a year I was struggling with a shitty torch, and but ever since then I've been cutting the shit out of some steel. It's great for all your tabs and gussets, and yeah, it's been great. Couldn't have done it without that. I kind of skimped out on a $300 PC computer because I couldn't get my Mac to work with this. It just wouldn't, even through Parallels and Windows on the Mac, it just wasn't working properly. Cheaped out on the PC, and that thing's slow as shit. Sometimes it takes 2 hours to boot up and do a few updates before I can use it. So I wouldn't do that. Spend the extra money on a little bit better, quicker one. Other than that, it's going to be ripping tomorrow. Look for me out on the road tomorrow. Let me know if you see any shortcomings, or where do you think this thing's gonna has the weak link, and what I could do better. I'm not an engineer, so that's why I've been redoing stuff many times. Let me know what you think of what I've done so far, and I know a lot of guys are like, oh shit, that's a big ass hole, like that's a weak, you know, but I won't be jumping it hard. Hopefully it won't fold in half on me. Getting there. Right? It's getting there. Where's Luna? Yeah? You the garage dog? You going for a ride? Gonna rock it out? Here comes the troublemaker. You excited to go for a ride in the sandrail? Hmm? You gonna tear up the back seats like you do in our cars? You gonna bark at every little thing that we drive by? Where's your teacher? Your teacher's coming.